I keep having the same dream. Everywhere I look, people are being replaced. Why would I be having visions that I'm a diverse woman?
Instead of doing any real work, I used the Panderstone to the point that it became unstable.
I swear, the multiverse is just an excuse for lazy writing.
Shorts! Not wearing shorts!
Universe 216B. A world where men are all diverse women. And all women are also diverse women. Besides the moms, I guess. I don't know. Taylor Swift is still white. Don't think too hard about it. A world where all kids are played by adults thrice their age and are taught about female exclusion in the male patriarchy. In this world is a small town named South Park, where you can come on down and have yourself a diverse time. Friendly diverse faces everywhere. Humble diverse folks without temptation. Like Cartman, Stan, Kyle, Kenny, and... who is that, Clyde? Tolkien... Butters? No, that's Butters, We should take a second to figure this out. Over the weekend, Paramount Plus dropped their first South Park special for the year. Not much year left. We getting a Christmas special or what? A special that created the exact amount of discourse you would expect from a title like that. Cartman dreams of a parallel universe where everyone's a diverse woman, and he believes that it means that Disney plans to replace everyone he knows and loves with diverse gay women.
Put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more fucking lame.
After some multiverse hijinks, Cartman ends up swapping places with his diverse counterpart, a black woman who also goes by the name of Eric Cartman. Our Cartman finds himself in his worst nightmare, as he's trapped in a world full of pandering with Kathleen Kennedy. But after she reveals the truth of the Panderstone and its effects across the multiverse, her and Cartman actually come to an understanding.
I guess just wailing on woke stuff all the time is pretty lazy too.
And they're able to return home, thanks to a B-plot that I think most people ignored whenever it came on and looked at their phone instead. But I was laughing. Personally, I dug this special. It was pretty much what I expected, much like the discourse that followed it. But while everyone else is fighting over if the episode was a bigger own on Disney or RageBait YouTube channels, I want to take a deeper look at Universe 216B. As not only do I want to point out who's who, but I also think there's some details that flesh out this world while servicing the episode's commentary. I love when South Park goes the extra mile for stuff like this. It's a big reason why I think things like Good Times with Weapons, the RPGs, and the post-COVID specials are some of the most memorable installments in the series. It's just neat seeing characters reimagined in different aesthetics and themes without straying too far away from the show's art style. Now you might have two questions about the diverse universe. Why is it called 216B? And are there really no men in this universe whatsoever? Obviously, 216B is a parody of absurd naming schemes in comics and common adjacent media. Like how in the Spider-Verse movies, Peter B. Parker is from Earth 616B. 216B implies that 216 is the main universe, where South Park proper takes place in. But is 216 some random number they threw out there, or is there a bit of meaning behind it? I think it actually might be a nod towards the 216th episode of South Park, You're Getting Old, an episode where Stan begins to perceive everything he sees and hears as literal shit as he turns another year older. Considering how a big part of this episode is how everything Disney puts out is terrible now, Universe 216 may be poking fun at the fact that a lot of people who are still invested in the Disney brand are grown-ass adults. And the reason why these movies feel as if they took a nosedive in quality is because we're aging out of the demographic. Now, this is coming from someone who's pretty much been checked out of Disney for a year or so, and even then, I'm only really counting the MCU and some of the new animated films. I haven't seen a single live-action remake since Cinderella, which I fell asleep watching in the theater, and I don't plan on changing that anytime soon. I'm mentioning all this to say, I do think there's truth to a lot of media no longer hitting the same once you're no longer a kid or teenager, but don't take that as me defending Disney because that mouse ain't doing shit for me, and I'm not trying to have the comments put his dick in my mouth just because I made an observation. Anyways, if there's any meaning to the name, that's the best connection I think you could make. As for the question of if there's actually any men in this universe, or if they just exist as a concept, the answer is yes, they do exist. At first it's only implied as the diverse counterparts dunk on straight white men, despite there only being women around until Cartman shows up, but later in the police station, we can see that photos of a bunch of men are hung up on the corkboard of wanted people. I'ma keep it a buck. This corkboard is consistent across other episodes and the RPGs, but I like to believe they chose not to update it with women for this special to lean into the idea that men are targeted and oppressed in this world. Makes sense if this is Cartman's worst nightmare. Here, men are a minority. I know this isn't saying anything new, but visually, the 216B takes on the characters are actually pretty rad. Kenny being the clear fan favorite, but what else is new? You can tell the artists on the show had fun with designing these characters, incorporating signature color schemes and character traits into their appearance, while still satirizing modern fashion trends and a habit of over-designing characters and costumes in newer media. And, you know, we're pandering. Throughout the special, we become familiar with diverse Cartman, Stan, Kyle, Kenny, and Butters, with Cartman getting the most characterization, which is Cartman without the anti-Semitism, because then Matt and Trey would have had to make her a Kanye fan. I also think making her a Baldur's Gate 3 addict in particular was pretty on the nose. As for everyone else who didn't get much time to shine or wasn't directly named, let's do a little bit of roll call. And props to Vivella over on Twitter who did a whole thread on the Panderverse counterparts. It was a nice thread to double check my homework with. Surprisingly, diverse Tolkien is pretty absent for pretty much all of this special. You'd think they would have done something with the black character whose name literally used to be Tolkien, but it is what it is. That being said, a diverse Tolkien is in this special. It might be the chick with this purple and gold color scheme walking outside the window of City Woke. This girl in red with a blue scarf around her neck might be Clyde, as she matches his color scheme, although I have a lot of questions on how they got this from this. The curly-haired girl wearing a blue blazer with yellow hair clips is certainly Craig, and I'm almost positive this girl with red hair is Tweak due to the stress line under her eye, alongside the green top and blue pants. There's been a lot of speculation on if Jimmy is the girl with the yellow turtleneck or the girl wearing shorts and a crop top with a flower in her hair, and I'm pretty sure it's the latter. Not only are the bright colors of her clothes closer to Jimmy's, but she's also way more prominent than Turtleneck in the school scenes. Someone whose design is pretty attention-grabbing. Not to mention they made her legs look super strong, which is an obvious contrast to Jimmy's. At first I thought Timmy was left out from this special, but I actually think he may be the Asian girl with the red glasses and orange jacket. It fits his color scheme and this might be a stretch. She's one of the few students sitting on their desk in the classroom, whilst being the only one sitting on a bench with her friends later in the special. Both could be a nod to his wheelchair. But an even bigger surprise is that the goth kids are also in this special. The goth girl with red hair and eyeshadow is clearly meant to be Pete, the girl with vitiligo is Michael, and I've been racking my brain to figure out who the girl in green with the gray hat is, but I think it actually might be Ferkel, aka Georgie. Their hairstyles seem to be the only ones that match up, and you're either on the goth or theater kid pipeline if you're rocking the Oppie hat. This girl wearing light blue and red is likely Kevin Stoley. If anyone cared about him, I really don't. As for the girls, Thick Thighs Save Lives might be Wendy, judging by the color scheme. The girl with dye blue tips matches Leslie's color scheme to a T. Brown hair and gray shirt might be Bebe, as they have similar hair texture, and her red makeup might represent Bebe's coat. And finally, this girl with a red beanie and purple coat is definitely red. Add another to the list, boys! As for the adults, diverse versions of Garrison, Steven, the cops, Jimbo, Ned, and Mr. Kim all appear, but we can also spot cameos from Mr. Mackey, Father Maxie, and Mephisto. Oh, and this is clearly meant to be Thomas. I also feel like she's meant to be somebody, but the closest character I could think of is the mayor, and I don't think that really checks out. I'm disappointed we didn't get a Randy though, and I feel like diverse Randy would be very much in your face. If there's a reason why, I think it's simply that South Park isn't made on a huge budget, and they actually got distinct voice actresses for each of the diverse characters. And they may not have had the time or money to cast another. If you find any other characters that I missed out on in this video, feel free to set the record straight in the comments. But for now, that's everything I could find, alongside the findings I could trust on the internet. Sadly, the Panderstone is closing, so I've ran out of time today. But on that note, I want to know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on the Panderverse designs and Earth 216B as a whole? Did it live up to expectations, or were you expecting a little bit more? I definitely would have wanted to see more of the diverse characters, but again, considering the crunch for these specials and any budgetary restrictions, I'm content with what we got. But yeah, drop your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'd say keep it civil, but it's South Park, so I know that shit's gonna be a minefield. If you enjoyed this video, throw it a like, subscribe for more South Park content, and I'll hit you guys up next time. Peace out!